Serious, what is the harshest truth you've ever learned? A big one for me is how many last times you're going to have, and how often you won't realize it's a last time. Things can change so fast. Go bowling every Monday? Have a convention you and your friends go to yearly? Hang out regularly with the same people? One day is going to be the last time it happens, and almost without fail you will not know. Then you go days without talking to someone, then weeks, then months, then one day you realize that you aren't really friends anymore. No major fallout, just your lives are no longer compatible. It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness, that is life. Captain Jean-Luc Picard. That you never know when the last time is until it is too late. Last time you hugged a friend. Last time you said I love you. Last time your kid crawled in bed for cuddles. Last time your parents called to chat. Last time you had a great time with someone before. Even the last times you look forward to end up passing by, and mark the finality of time. I am not sure what the date was when I changed my last kid's diaper, but my babies aren't babies anymore. It's tragic to see how fast relationships can get redefined. It's painful to learn how quickly a cumulative amount of experiences and love can become dust in the wind moving forward. For me, it was my fault and just changing life circumstances. I lost my two closest friends, and I became somewhat bitter, which didn't help things. They reprioritized their lives and decided I wasn't in that picture. But that really isn't how life always works. Miscommunications happen, sometimes there isn't any communication, and you're now a stranger. I regret every moment I did end up pushing them away, but what was most painful about all of it is that I never was clued in until I was out in the cold. The cold truth in life is that no one will ever care about you as much as you have the ability to about yourself. If you don't even value yourself, well, no one is going to find it easy to do it for you. Stop worrying what others think. Most people are so caught up in themselves they barely know anyone else exists. Don't let your ego convince you that anyone gives a rat's ass about what you're doing. Of the few out there that do care, even fewer of them can do anything to either help or harm you. That even though people are hanging out with you doesn't mean that they always actually like you. I figured that out when I used to hang out with this girl, and one day she just came up to me and told me that it's annoying how I always hung around her and the other girls, and that I should probably just go away because a lot of the other girls didn't like me either. I had such a hard time trusting people after that. I didn't want to go to stuff like sleepovers or hang out after school with kids in high school even if they did invite me, because I just had that voice in the back of my mind telling me don't hang out with them, they're only inviting you to be polite. Just decline, they'll have more fun without you. You can speak as many languages as you want, have multiple degrees and certificates, and still be rejected at the simplest of jobs. No matter how talented you are at something, there will always be someone way better than you. Ultimately, you must stand alone, and what your loved ones think about you doesn't matter. In the end, you are you, and that is enough. Sucks if you're caught up in getting likes and reactions in social media. This is a long one, few people will read it, and of those that will, few people will care, but since I'm anonymous, and Reddit glory is pretty useless, I don't mind saying it. What I'm going to say will sound bitter. It is, but it's also the truth. When I was young, and knew nothing, I always wanted to be a hero. What that meant, I wasn't sure, but I knew a hero was just and kind and willing to do bold things. When you try to adopt a heroic mindset, it may start with the conscious desire to do good. That will fade. As you foster it, and make it a part of your identity, it will become a compulsion. You won't think of the reasons, eventually there won't be any. You'll sacrifice every comfort for others, you'll never receive the same treatment. You'll be satisfied with never receiving the same treatment. As a result, others will see your actions not as virtuous, but as expectations. You'll be fine with that too. You expect it from yourself anyway. But the more you look, and the more you do, you'll see more apathy. You'll see more selfishness. You'll see very few people like yourself, They are elusive, they don't connect with others easily. Being the change you want to see inevitably pits you against seemingly impossible odds, but compulsions don't weigh the odds, compulsions act. It is a lonely, lonely existence. And a very heavy burden. There's no heroic fanfare for the sacrifices you make. It isn't a movie. There's no sudden realization from others about how valuable you may be. You will be forgotten, until there is a need. There is a lot of hate. I feel as though I've sacrificed a lot for people, and was willing to sacrifice much more that, thankfully, I never ended up having to. I believe you should do good things because they are good, and for no other reason. But it hurts. It hurts a lot. That we are very much like arrows launched into the sky. Good parents build the best bow they can, and hope their aim is true, and their arm is strong, knowing that if they shoot well, they will never be able to catch up to their offspring, but the world will progress, and the future will hopefully be brighter. Okay, parents, find whatever bow they can scrounge, try not to waver too much as they fire, and hope they didn't fuck it up. They weren't necessarily prepared, or aware, and most are just grateful the bow didn't break. Shitty parents never find a bow, they just walk outside, and jab the arrow down in the mud, either not caring about what happens to it, or determined that it will never know it was supposed to soar in the first place. Credit cards are not always a great option. I went to Asia as a Western person and was repeatedly told I was fat. Not even in an insulting way, just a very matter-of-fact way. I was called big and very fat. I was super in denial about my weight and continued into denial when I got home. I started my weight loss journey throughout lockdown this year and I'm 18 pounds down finally. Got a long way to go, but I never want to feel as mortified, disgusting and ashamed as I did when people made those comments as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Anything can be taken away from you at any time. It can be your sense of security, your purpose in life, your job, your significant other, your dreams, your bodily functions, your hope for the future, your idea of what life is or what it could be. It can all go away in an instant, with no logical or ethical reason why. We live in a stochastic universe. There may be patterns and there may be trends, but we will never truly know how things will turn out. It's the hardest thing to accept in life, but it's also the exact thing that makes life worth living. The truth doesn't matter, perception does. That sometimes you have to fail 1,000 times just to win once. Thanks, Thomas Edison. You're not a loser if you don't win, you're a loser if you don't try. That you are the only one that truly knows how good or bad of person you are. If you want to be truly judged, admit to what you do when no one is watching. Also, just contemplating the notion will tell you a lot about yourself. And finally, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. Mike Tyson. Your mental illness, physical disability, or trauma story does not have to be some kind of inspirational recovery story. Sometimes just surviving 24 hours is enough. There's no appropriate amount to grieve a loss. You are not required to recover from anything in someone else's time frame. If you're trying but people around you seem to think you're milking it for attention, firstly, forget them. Secondly, anyone that accuses someone of being attention-seeking behavior is actively demanding you to fit into their preferences. They're making it about them, they can fuck off. It's okay to be not okay. It is your responsibility to try to improve your mental/physical state in your own time frame. Some people never fully recover and that's okay. Don't let other people guilt you into putting on your fake face so they don't have to be uncomfortable. You are doing your best and that's enough. You can have friends with great lives and great families and everything about you sucks and there's nothing you can do about it. Your rich friend will have a really close family and their biggest concern is their children getting into their dream career, and if it doesn't work out their second dream career. Their family has great holidays and there's never any drama. Meanwhile, you're worried about whether the next phone call from your divorced parents that don't call you that often is one of your siblings dying. I've had a pretty good life, but sometimes it sucks having a friend that has it all, and your family is going to shit. I have very good friends I lean on, which is nice, but goddamn, why is my family the one that's struggling? You can only really count on yourself. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.